My husband, Marcus, accidentally live-streamed his affair with Tiffany, his mistress, during a company video conference. I quietly recorded the video. During the company's video conference, my husband forgot to turn off his webcam. The entire company witnessed a passionate display between him and his secretary. Later that evening, on our wedding anniversary, my husband brought his secretary. She sweetly and demurely called me sister and then playfully asked me for a gift. I replied, of course, I'll give you a grand gift. A grand gift of revenge, with the entire company's help. The company held a video conference. Everyone had their webcams and microphones off, making it easy to slack off. My colleague, Sarah, leaned over from the next cubicle and quietly asked me about Marcus's plans for our wedding anniversary. He hasn't told me. I smiled. But I can probably guess. We were high school sweethearts, attended the same college, and after 8 years of dating, we finally got married. Marcus came from an average family, so my family covered the cost of our house, car. His parents couldn't help with anything. Fortunately, Marcus was responsible, ambitious, and incredibly kind to me, which was why my parents reluctantly allowed me to marry him. Marcus had always said he'd only love me and be good to me for his entire life. He lived up to that promise. After graduation, we were assigned to the same company, and everyone envied our love story. While we were chatting happily, another colleague came over and warned, Marcus forgot to turn off his webcam. I looked at the big screen. On the webcam, he was taking off his clothes, one item at a time. I immediately called Marcus, but he didn't answer. Immediately, everyone's eyes fixed on the big screen. A woman appeared in the room. It was Tiffany, my college junior, and also an employee of the company. The entire room fell silent. Everyone covered their mouths, watching without a single blink. What's going on with THM? Holy cow, Tiffany is knowingly a homewrecker. No way, Marcus, I really misjudged you. Grace is going through hell, watching her husband cheat. Over 100 people were watching my husband and his secretary's sordid behavior live. Manager, noticing my grim expression, nervously said, turn it off, quickly, turn it off. I stopped him with a cold voice. No need. I pulled out my phone and started screen recording. It's a free show, of course, I need to record it. Afterward, Tiffany traced circles on Marcus's chest. When are you going to divorce her? Marcus stroked her shoulder and chuckled. What's the hurry? Her family is wealthy and well-connected, it helps my career advancement. If I divorce her now, I won't get any benefits. Besides, I think love is more important than a piece of paper. Tiffany giggled. You're right. Anyway, you love me the most, and I can wait. Plus, you've said my skills are better than hers. Marcus lovingly called her a sweetheart. Tiffany wriggled and added another comment. We still need to maintain our distance at the company, just in case Grace finds out. She trusts me completely and treats me like a younger sister, giving me whatever I want. I really don't want to lose this ATM. Marcus chuckled. Of course, Grace is my ATM too. I know. You even said in college that with Grace around, you could walk with your head held high, Tiffany said playfully. Marcus leaned in to kiss her, and they started passionately fooling around. Someone couldn't bear to watch any longer and pulled the plug, extinguishing the screen. The room fell silent, even breathing was cautious. Everyone looked at me, observing my expression. My hands and feet were icy cold, and the blood drained from my body, leaving a piercing pain. Sarah comforted me, Grace, if you want to cry, just cry. Cry? Why should I cry? I regained my composure. Then I looked at everyone. We were all colleagues who had worked hard together for several years, some were an alumni from the same school. We had long become friends. Grace, don't be like this. I'll expose those 2 vile people right away. Yeah, make them get out of the company. Damn it, what a scumbag. He has such a capable and beautiful wife, and he still cheats. I stopped them from exposing it. For this matter, I want everyone to keep quiet and pretend nothing happened. Everyone grew anxious. No, Grace, you can tolerate this? Divorce him immediately. Why would you keep him around? Grace, a cheating man doesn't deserve forgiveness. He might even have other women. I calmly looked at everyone and said firmly, I will divorce him, but I can't let those 2 vile people off easy like this. Exactly, don't let those 2 vile people off easy. Tell us what you want to do, and we'll all help you. Manager said. The colleagues echoed his sentiment. I never expected that all the company's colleagues would be so united and share a common hatred in this matter. It was simply too infuriating. 3 at noon, Marcus appeared, frantically looking for me. Honey, my phone was accidentally on silent earlier, please don't be angry. Now, hearing the word honey made me want to throw up. I hummed in response and picked up my bag, preparing to leave. Marcus stepped forward to help me with my things, nervously asking, "I forgot to check in earlier." Manager didn't say anything, did he? Why did the meeting suddenly cut off halfway through? I stopped and looked at him. He nervously swallowed. I smiled. Of course he did. Marcus's face instantly turned pale, and he dared not take a deep breath. Manager said you forgot to check in, and then he had something to do, so he ended it early. Only after I finished speaking did he dare to breathe. That's all? That's all. Why are you so nervous? Have you been up to no good behind my back? I teased, feigning nonchalance. No, of course not. What bad things could I possibly do? Marcus's eyes darted around nervously. I immediately changed the subject. What are your plans for our wedding anniversary tonight? Don't worry, honey, I prepared a big surprise for you. A surprise. It was certainly a big one. I pretended to be somewhat excited. Well then, I'll eagerly await it. Marcus gazed at me with deep affection. A saying suddenly came to mind, some eyes can look at a dog with deep affection. Why had I never noticed Marcus's deep affection filter before? His obedience to me was merely because he coveted my family's resources and connections. For back at the company, Marcus immediately went to see manager. Probably guilt-ridden or trying to gather information, he started asking questions as soon as he entered. Manager handled him exactly as we had discussed. Only then did Marcus breathe a sigh of relief. Manager immediately called me. Did you see his unsightly relief? But he probably hasn't caught on to our plan. Knowing him well, I told manager, he'll definitely ask others too. After all, he and Tiffany were the only ones who missed that meeting. So side is the key. Tiffany has a group of friends she often invites for afternoon tea, and Marcus knows them too. What those two didn't know was that this group of friends was already on my side. Marcus had Tiffany use her old trick again, inviting her friends for afternoon tea. They also maintained a united front, and he couldn't get any information out of them. So he no longer suspected anything. Tiffany once again boldly started calling him Marcus around the company. Before, when people heard her call him Marcus, no one said anything. Now, everyone's faces showed an expression of discomfort, but when Tiffany and Marcus looked their way, they quickly returned to normal. What perfect acting. 5 That evening was Marcus and my 1-year wedding anniversary. Tiffany also came. Happy anniversary, Grace, she said, presenting her gift. I didn't take it. Marcus stepped in front of me and took it for her. I told you, why are you getting involved in our anniversary? Tiffany pouted, then came up and took my arm. Marcus, I was just worried you'd bully Grace, wasn't I? Grace didn't say anything, but you're already scolding me. She then turned to me and said sweetly, Grace, if Marcus ever dares to wrong you or mess around with other women, I'll be the first one to never forgive him. I really couldn't hold it in. I laughed aloud. Both of them looked at me, somewhat surprised. I nodded. Yes, an anniversary, the more people, the merrier. So. I clapped my hands, and the main door opened. Everyone from the company came in, to watch the spectacle. Marcus and Tiffany looked embarrassed. I asked him, surprised? His face stiffened for a moment, then he put his arm around my shoulder and intimately said, as long as you like it, wife. Then he pulled out a diamond necklace and put it on me. This is my surprise for you, wife. I'll love you forever. As his words faded, music started playing, and small fireworks began to go off. Tiffany looked envious. Grace, I really envy you for having such a wonderful husband. Oh, really? My smile never left my lips. Then how about I give him to you? The scene instantly became eerily silent. The colleagues watched excitedly. Being at the forefront of watching the drama unfold was a rare sight. Marcus's expression changed, and he dared not meet Tiffany's gaze. Tiffany was also startled and quickly distanced herself. Grace, you really know how to joke. 6 I subtly raised the corner of my mouth and took Marcus's arm voluntarily. Alright, look how scared you both are. Anyone who didn't know would think there was actually something going on between you two. Tiffany's eyes darted away, and she walked to the side to chat with others. Marcus immediately declared his sincerity. Wife, you know you're the only one in my heart. Don't make jokes like that in the future, it's not good. He actually blamed me first. Pfft, it was Sarah and Michael, who couldn't hold it in and snorted. Marcus looked somewhat suspicious. Wife, I've noticed everyone's looking at me a bit strangely. Perhaps they're just envious that you love me so much, I said with a sly smile, giving him the answer he wanted to hear. As expected, Marcus's face filled with pride. They really should be envious. A husband as sensible and thoughtful as me is impossible to find. Grace, you need to hold on tight to me, don't let some other sweetheart take me away. This level of shamelessness was truly unparalleled. Manager couldn't help but blurt out, Marcus, please stop making me sick. In the past, this would have been a playful jab. But now, all of us knew that the manager's words came from the bottom of his heart. Marcus was displeased. He grumbled, I think you're all just jealous, coming to meddle in Grace and my wedding anniversary. It was hilarious. He really thought he was so exceptional that he'd make others jealous. As if Marcus was the only man in the entire world. Are you blaming me for inviting everyone? I asked him, suppressing my disgust and smiling sweetly, though my words were laced with daggers. Marcus immediately apologized. No, wife, how could I blame you? Of course, he wouldn't dare blame me. After all, my dad had promised that as long as he treated me well and performed well at the company, he would arrange for his promotion. I said I wanted to go out for some fresh air, sending Marcus away, and then contacted Alex. Alex was Sarah's cousin, a well-known rich second-generation heir in Fengcheng. We'd met a few times before, so we had a decent rapport. After hearing about my situation, he voluntarily offered to help me and joined the revenge plan. We had a Discord group. It was used for sharing information and watching the drama unfold. Sarah asked, has arrived? Alex replied, he's in position. I said, then let the show begin. When we got back, I said I wasn't feeling well, and Marcus nervously took me home. Then, as Tiffany was leaving with others, He encountered Alex. It was a very cliched scenario. Alex drove up in his red, and the dirty water splashed by the tires soiled Tiffany's beautiful dress. Just as she was about to lash out, she saw the handsome Alex, dressed head to toe in designer brand, and his noble demeanor instantly captured Tiffany's heart. When apologized and offered to buy her a new dress, Tiffany got into his car without a second thought. When called me, Marcus was in the kitchen, making hot tea for me. Oh my God, I've never seen her move so fast, as if she was terrified my cousin would disappear. Sarah grumbled indignantly, I really regret not recording that scene for you. I calmly said, it's alright, the best is yet to come. 7 After found a new target, Marcus became very idle and irritable. Idle, because all his so-called overtime in the past was now spent accompanying me. Irritable, because Tiffany ignored him, and I secretly overheard Marcus's roars during their phone calls. However, Tiffany was cunning. With a couple of playful gestures, she managed to calm Marcus down. Everyone at the company was waiting to watch the drama unfold. Deputy William was no exception. He was Henry's good friend and knew about Marcus and Tiffany's situation. Someone had even shared the screen recording from that day with him. William was an upright man, and his emotions were clearly visible on his face, so he didn't want to humor Marcus. After learning about my plan, he also intended to help, but ultimately, he couldn't hold back. Early one morning at a meeting, he thoroughly scolded Marcus, accusing him of missing the conference and failing to address problems promptly. Some people are never satisfied, always looking for more, and yet still want to be nominated for Employee of the Month. With your work attitude, you'll be out on your ear sooner or later. Everyone's hearts tightened, fearing the secret would be exposed. But I wasn't worried at all. Marcus was fuming but dared not speak, likely preoccupied with resentment towards William and not bothering to analyze the hidden meaning of his words. After the meeting, Marcus pulled me aside. Wife, that creep just can't stand me. Marcus's face was contorted in a sneer. He harassed Tiffany last time, and ever since I stopped him, he's been targeting me. That kind of person is truly disgusting. I watched his performance with a forced smile. Wife, I can't let this go. I remember you're on good terms with Elizabeth, the general, right? How about this? You put in a good word for me and say William has behavioral issues, asking her to investigate him. Seeing me silent, he anxiously took my hand. Wife, I know you worry about me the most. When I get promoted, won't you benefit from it too? I grimaced and smiled. You're absolutely right. Before, the matter between Tiffany and William had caused quite a stir in the company, and William had even come to me to complain. He said he admired Tiffany, but wouldn't go so far as to make physical advances in the break room. Marcus was already there when he entered. Now that I thought about it, William must have stumbled upon their affair, so they spread rumors. Under his hopeful gaze, I walked into Elizabeth's office. Elizabeth was my senior from a few years back and had watched me grow up, so naturally, we had a good relationship. After learning about my plan, she agreed. Not long after, Elizabeth publicly addressed the company's recent conduct issues during a meeting. She also removed Marcus from the list of outstanding employees. Marcus immediately turned to me and fumed. Grace, what kind of job did you do? Oh, he wasn't even calling me wife anymore. Didn't you say William had behavioral issues? I just asked Elizabeth to investigate properly. He harassed a female colleague, and you righteously stopped him, yet he resented you. Husband, I'm helping you, I said, feigning innocence. Marcus's expression was priceless, as if he'd just swallowed something utterly disgusting. Later, Elizabeth genuinely ordered a reinvestigation, which revealed that Marcus had used company time for personal gain and had even leaked company data in the past, though the situation wasn't severe. Consequently, Marcus was stripped of his supervisor position and directly transferred to the lowest level role. While was moving his belongings, William and I were on the top floor, basking in the sun and drinking coffee. William let out a stream of foul language. After venting, he apologized to me. I should have told you about it back then, otherwise, you wouldn't have been kept in the dark for so long. The incident William referred to was when he once saw Marcus and Tiffany walking arm in arm while shopping, but had claimed at the time that he was choosing a gift for me and had asked Tiffany to help. William believed him and didn't tell me. I clinked my glass of water against his. It's all in the past now, it's not too late to know. William sighed. Marcus really is a scumbag. Who's to argue with that? And I had loved such a scumbag for so many years. On my way back, Elizabeth called me. Marcus seems very off. If he finds out you orchestrated this, I'm afraid he might come after you. I snorted coldly. No, he won't. If he still wants to climb back up, he can only rely on me. My words were soon proven true. Marcus became extremely attentive to me, running errands for me, just like he was when we were first in love. He mentioned several times that he hoped to return to his supervisor position. I brushed him off a few times. Seeing that he wasn't getting anywhere, Marcus lost his patience with me. Furthermore, due to his affair, the entire office building knew about Marcus's questionable character, and everyone avoided him, let alone attractive young women. Marcus was very depressed and sought to regain some confidence through Tiffany. He called Tiffany. Tiffany agreed this time. After they rekindled their old flame, Tiffany revealed the purpose of their meeting. I need $1 million. Where would I get $1 million for you? Marcus stood up in shock. I had someone install a listening app on Marcus's phone. So when I heard their conversation, I was ecstatic. Alex's efficiency was truly impressive. He had tricked Tiffany into believing he was looking for a woman with similar tastes to his. For so many years, Marcus had used my money to keep Tiffany, who wore high-end fashion and designer brand. On the day she met Alex, Tiffany was wearing a high-end dress. It was a dress I had once rejected, which Marcus then bought for Tiffany. Tiffany had always thought Marcus was young, handsome, and rich. But when she met Alex, who was even more handsome and wealthier than Marcus, being a married man, no longer held any appeal. Moreover, Alex had extended an olive branch, saying his parents were coming this week and that Tiffany should prepare to meet them. If she passed their approval, they would get engaged. Tiffany would move heaven and earth to seize this opportunity. Unable to get it from me, she could only approach Marcus. I don't care. If you don't give me $1 million, I'll tell Grace about our affair. Marcus wasn't one to back down. Tiffany, are you really planning to burn all bridges? I can also tell your rich second-generation boyfriend that you and I have been sleeping together for years. Wow, a real dog-eat-dog situation. Truly entertaining. My ears were absolutely delighted. Tiffany cried, her voice so delicate it was heartbreaking. Marcus ultimately gave in to Tiffany. I don't have $1 million, but I do have some cash in the safe I share with Grace. You can go and get it then. I'll send you the front door and safe codes to your phone. Tiffany happily kissed him several times, very loudly. It disgusted me. I disconnected the call and sent the latest update to the Discord group, allowing everyone to enjoy watching the drama unfold. Marcus told me he'd arranged a candlelight dinner for us to make up for the disappointment of our wedding anniversary. I knew that Tiffany would go to our upscale neighborhood that evening to take some of the cash from the safe. Ever since witnessing their little movie, I'd been traumatized by Marcus. Any touch from him made me nauseous, so I'd been sleeping in a separate room, citing not feeling well. I had also changed the safe's password, but after hearing their conversation, I changed it back. Alright then, I'll definitely dress up nicely, I promised with a smile. Marcus, fearing I might return home, used sweet talk to coax me into heading straight to the restaurant after work. Midway, Sarah took me away under the pretense of work, while Marcus was kept busy by Michael and a few others, who dragged him off to have a good time. So he had no idea that Sarah and I were executing a surprise attack on Tiffany. While we were at it, citing security concerns, we brought the property management and security guards along and opened the front door. When the door opened, Tiffany was stunned. Both her wrists were laden with my jewelry, and she was clutching several designer bags filled with a lot of cash. Grace, you said the house was broken into, you don't mean Tiffany, do you? Sarah was the first to speak. No way? Everyone's acting was superb, their expressions of shock mixed with schadenfreude were truly a sight to behold. The property management and security guards also didn't expect anyone to be so brazen. Tiffany panicked and, without a word of explanation, forcefully shoved us aside, trying to escape. This was truly digging her own grave. I shouted, "Thief!" A security guard leaped forward and pinned Tiffany down. She struggled and tried to argue her way out. I called the police and had her arrested. 10 with both witnesses and evidence, Tiffany couldn't escape. At the police station, the total value was confirmed, jewelry, designer bags, and cash combined exceeded 500,000. Burglar. With a significant amount involved. Tiffany was trembling all over with fear, her makeup smeared as she cried, "No, Marcus told me to take this money. He sent me the passwords." Before entering the police station, I had already called Marcus. So, as soon as he walked in, he heard Tiffany's words. Everyone's eyes were on him, curious to see what choice this man would make. I stared intently at Marcus. This man had been my entire youth. But I had never been so disappointed, because the ruthlessness in Marcus's eyes showed that Tiffany was nothing more than a pawn. Marcus, he loved neither me nor Tiffany. He only loved himself. "Officer, we're just regular colleagues. I wasn't involved in this matter at all," Marcus stated, clarifying his position. "Wife, you have to believe me." Tiffany broke down. Emotionally agitated, she tried to lunge at Marcus but was clumsily restrained by the police and pressed against the table. "Marcus, you beast. You do the deed but won't take responsibility. Grace, do you know that your husband and I were involved before your marriage, and he's continued to be with me ever since? He said you were no good in bed, and besides money, you were nothing." Tiffany went wild, lunging forward to scratch and bite. Marcus forcefully shoved her away, and Tiffany crashed to the floor. Seeing my cold expression, Marcus, terrified, raised his hand and swore, "Wife, don't listen to her nonsense." "I didn't. You know you're the only woman I've ever had in my life." The police officer spoke up, stopping the commotion. "Everything requires evidence. I just checked your phone, Ms. Tiffany, and the person who sent you the password was someone claiming to be CK, not Mr. Marcus here." Tiffany's pupils dilated as she saw her phone screen. "That's impossible. CK, I knew, was Marcus's dummy account. Before, I gave him complete freedom and never checked Marcus's phone. But after installing the listening software, he had no more secrets." Tiffany was led away, low, choking as if she had lost her soul. Marcus looked aggrieved, claiming he had treated Tiffany like a sister and never expected her to be that kind of person. "Indeed, I never thought he'd be that kind of person," I said, pointedly looking at him. "Marcus, once unfaithful, always untrustworthy. Just you wait, your fate won't be any lighter than Tiffany's." 11 Because the amount was substantial enough for immediate prosecution and to serve time in prison, I chose to settle privately. After all, a dog-eat-dog situation is quite entertaining. But I never expected Marcus to be even more ruthless than me. He directly reported Tiffany's theft to the head office. Tiffany was fired from the company. Before she left, the two of them bit at each other a few more times. My colleagues and I watched with great interest. Tiffany called Alex, but he had already blocked her. She didn't know that the curtain had already fallen on this act. Marcus had erased all their traces, and Tiffany became a pariah, shunned by everyone. Sarah and the others said it was truly satisfying. But I felt that while the other woman was indeed hateful, the man was the true culprit. Marcus was the one who most deserved to be punished. Without threat, Marcus perked up. He started looking for every opportunity to be good to me, coaxing me with sweet words, surrounding me with gentle whispers, aiming to rebuild his image as a good husband and a good man. But no one bought it, because everyone at the company knew that Marcus's entire heart was corrupt. So I never wavered. You can't change a snake's nature. Marcus was that poisonous snake. As expected, when it was time to collaborate with Pinnacle, Marcus begged me to include him, because I was in charge of this project. He claimed he'd worked all night on the documents, hoping to secure a partnership with this big company so he wouldn't have to stay in his low-level position and could move up. All right, I agreed. When the two companies met, I introduced Marcus to the person in charge from the other side, a beautiful, fair-skinned mixed-race woman with long legs. Her name was Isabella, the executive of Pinnacle. Her demeanor and upbringing were extraordinary, and she also held a mysterious identity, the granddaughter of Pinnacle's chairman. Someone in our company had found out about this, and Marcus naturally knew it too. So his eyes were glued to Isabella, and I saw it all clearly. I pretended not to notice, giving them plenty of space, and they exchanged contact information. After that, Marcus returned to his overtime routine. I smiled. In a department where people just coast, what overtime could he possibly have? It was merely an excuse to meet Isabella. I calmly worked on my proposal. The collaboration with Pinnacle couldn't be taken lightly. That evening, after finishing my work, I idly opened the monitoring software and saw Marcus's WhatsApp chat history. Besides flattering Isabella, he was also bragging to his online friends. He claimed his charm was immense, and yet another woman had fallen wrapped around his finger. This made his online friends envious. But some of his friends didn't believe him and thought Marcus was just boasting. Marcus immediately screenshotted his chat history with Isabella and sent it to them. Does my charm need bragging about? Just watch, I'll definitely win her over in less than a week. I looked at his chat history with Isabella. It was insipid and amateurish, they were completely talking past each other. This was Marcus's confidence? Once again, I felt that having loved Marcus for so many years was truly disgusting. Isabella's special attention gave Marcus renewed confidence, and he began to flirt with Isabella during work hours. He also forgot that Elizabeth's assignment was for us both to create separate proposals to see which one was more suitable for Pinnacle. Only when it was nearing the time for both companies to review the proposals did Marcus remember the actual task. He cadged OLED and begged me to help him. I wasn't going to humor him. No way, I still have so much unfinished work. I'll have to pull an all-nighter tonight. Why don't you help me tonight instead? Marcus immediately refused. Never mind, I'll figure it out myself. After I finished my work, I closed my laptop, left the company, and wearing a mask, went to a restaurant. As I sat down, a large potted plant, over a meter tall, was perfectly placed between two tables. Marcus and Isabella were at the table next to mine. I sat down, ordered a glass of water, and slowly waited. Marcus's emotions were somewhat agitated. Isabella, because of you, I completely forgot to work on my proposal these past few days. Can you help me by rejecting Grace's proposal tomorrow? Isabella gasped, wouldn't that be inappropriate? What's inappropriate about it? Think about it, if I succeed, we can openly be together in the future, Marcus said softly. The hand holding my glass of water turned cold. Marcus, you truly outdid yourself. Isabella sighed. My grandfather will be here tomorrow too, so I can't reject the proposal directly. So, darling, I can't help you. Marcus's tone dropped. It's alright, but you said before that whoever's proposal passes will become the general at Pinnacle. Is that true? Of course, my grandfather told me himself. He not only wants to collaborate with your company but also wants to poach talent from it, Isabella said. Marcus seemed to make a decision. Alright, I understand. He stood up to leave, explaining to Isabella that he was going back to work on his proposal and would treat her to a nice meal another day. After he left, Isabella sat down across from me. She winked at me. Grace, you owe me one. To get him to fall into the trap, my charming act gave me goosebumps. I pulled down my mask and smiled at Isabella. Isabella, I didn't ask you to work so hard. I already had actors lined up, but you insisted on taking the stage yourself. Isabella poked my forehead. Heartless. But do you really think Marcus will act out of desperation? He will, I affirmed. After all, this was his best chance to turn things around. But I wasn't going to let him. 12. The joint meeting for reviewing the proposals was scheduled for next Friday. Isabella leaked the news to Marcus that if his proposal passed, he could become the general at Pinnacle. Compared to Pinnacle, our small company was truly insignificant. So definitely wanted this opportunity. Even if he didn't eat or sleep for the next few days, he still wouldn't be able to produce a proposal. So he chose to act out of desperation, stealing my proposal and changing the name to his own. On the day of the joint company meeting, I voluntarily let Marcus present his proposal first. This was exactly what he wanted. However, when Marcus reached the second slides of his presentation, all the data was zero. Marcus panicked. When it was my turn, my proposal was identical to Marcus's, but the data was superior to his. Edward asked me about the situation, and I told the truth. Elizabeth, the company's general, also arrived with the police, stating that Marcus was to be taken away because surveillance footage showed him operating my computer at my workstation and stealing this proposal. With nowhere else to turn, Marcus first begged Isabella, but she completely ignored him. Only then did he think of me. We're partners, Grace, you can't just abandon me. Besides, you said I could use this proposal. I nodded. Yes, I agreed. Marcus, I will give you everything you want. I just doubt you can handle it. 13 I told everyone that this proposal was actually Marcus's achievement, and I had merely stepped in to save the day. After the misunderstanding was cleared, Marcus hugged me and thanked me. Suppressing my disgust, I told him, Marcus, to celebrate your new position, I've also prepared a few grand gifts for you. Marcus listened, filled with anticipation. He thought it would be luxury cars and villas, because he had always wanted them. The day of the contract signing was also the product launch event. Many people from both companies attended, along with a significant number of media personnel. There were several broadcast cameras. Before the signing, I said I had something to say. Under some immensely hopeful gaze, I walked onto the stage. The person most deserving of thanks for the success of this project is my husband, Marcus. Applause erupted, and Marcus stood in the spotlight, grinning from ear to ear. So, I'm going to give him a few grand gifts. With that, I gestured for everyone to look at the screen. The first gift was his passionate blockbuster with Tiffany. Edward was so shocked that his old face was twitching. Isabella clicked her tongue. Really small. The contract signing venue transformed into a scene for watching the drama unfold. Marcus, horrified, rushed forward, trying to stop it. Grace, are you insane? Turn it off. What the hell is wrong with you? He was pinned down by Michael and the others, unable to move. I sneered at him. I was afraid you'd dislike a carefully prepared gift again. After all, you once showed me your displeasure right to my face back in college. In my sophomore year, Marcus had scoffed at a sweater I had painstakingly knitted for him. At the time, I thought I had just knitted it badly. Now I know. It wasn't that it was ugly, it was that something made with care held no value to him. Marcus, furious and humiliated, snapped, Grace, you're just jealous I got the Elizabeth position, you bitch. Shut up. My heart turned cold. I slapped the second gift onto his face. These divorce papers are already signed. Since you cheated during our marriage, you'll not only forfeit all marital assets but also compensate me for my losses. Marcus stared ferociously at the folder, stunned. All cameras were aimed at him, so everyone watching the live broadcast could see the expression on Marcus's face. The third item included the company's surveillance footage, neighborhood surveillance, and Marcus and Tiffany's chat history. He thought using a burner account and deleting the messages would make him escape undetected. But I had tech experts help me. Naturally, everything could be recovered. When he saw all of this, Marcus went ballistic, breaking free from Michael's grip and lunging at me. Grace, you goddamn played me this whole time. You took me for a fool, and I won't let you off easy. Just as he was about to lay a hand on me, the police arrived. Marcus was arrested and sentenced to a 10-year prison sentence. When I visited him, he was still highly agitated, practically wanting to chew me to death through the glass. Marcus asked me, why? Why are you doing this to me? Grace, haven't I been good to you? Haven't I loved you enough? I laughed sardonically. Marcus, listen to how ridiculous you sound. Being good to me is your excuse for cheating? And loving me gives you permission to cheat? Marcus, stop making excuses for your infidelity. I stood up coldly, looking at the man I had loved for so many years. Marcus, you know what? When I saw you and Tiffany together in bed, I had only one thought. I was going to make sure you both got what you deserved. Marcus lowered his head and gave a wretched laugh. So, those bastards at the company were all on your side, even Isabella? Yes, they all helped me get my revenge. I nodded. Marcus became agitated again and was subdued by the prison guards with a baton. He burst into roaring laughter, showing no remorse whatsoever. He claimed, I did nothing wrong, nothing. They're the ones to blame, they seduced me. After that, I never visited Marcus again. My collaboration with Pinnacle was very pleasant, and Marcus's affair was sensationally reported by the media. News of his infidelity stayed on the trending topics for days. I was promoted to executive, the position Marcus had always coveted. Thanks to my outstanding work, Chairman Eve N commended me by name at the annual meeting, and Sarah and the others sincerely congratulated me. After the new Pinnacle acquired our ascent, and I became Elizabeth of Pinnacle. At a gathering once, I saw Tiffany on the street, visibly pregnant and walking beside a limping old man. The old man had a fiery temper. He slapped Tiffany several times within a minute. Later, I learned that she had a bad reputation and no marketable skills. Her parents forced her to marry a local man in his 50s, who reportedly had a criminal record and was notorious in their area as an abusive husband. As for Marcus, Michael and others visited him a few times and reported that it was a horrific sight. Apparently, he had somehow offended his cellmates, was ganged up on by several burly men, and ended up with a severe disability, seemingly impotent. Hearing news of those two, my expression remained indifferent. It's enough that I'm doing well now. Everyone else is irrelevant to me. Sarah cautiously asked me, so, will you date again in the future? I curved my lips into a smile. Of course. Setbacks or pain, they will all eventually become things of the past. We can't let those past experiences dictate our future. Hearing this, Sarah immediately called Alex and said right in front of me, "Cousin, there's a chance. Hurry up and get here." I was amused. So I believe, don't lose the right to love just because you've been hurt. Some people are worth loving. Thank you for watching today's story. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends. We look forward to hearing your thoughts in the comments section. Feel free to share your perspectives, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more exciting stories. See you next time.